the early 2000s, a documentary crew set out to capture rarely seen wildlife along a remote tropical coastline in Sumatra. Cameras rolling, they stumbled upon something far beyond ordinary observation. A small troop of Colossopithecus foraging along the shoreline. But unbeknownst to the crew or the apes, their search for shellfish and coastal resources had brought them dangerously close to a nesting site. Just offshore, the massive silhouette of a female Thermoradiosaurus colossus shifted in the surf. Sensing a disturbance, the mother surged forward, rising from the shallows with a thunderous spray of water. Her roar echoed across the cove, a visceral warning to leave the area at once. The Colossopithecus troop froze, adults immediately rallying around the young. The towering alpha male steps forward, brandishing a heavy spear tipped with the mineralized spine nearly identical to the ones on the Thermoradiosaurus's back. He pounded his chest, letting out a guttural roar that echoed across the shoreline, an unmistakable signal of defiance against the reptilian titan. The Thermoradiosaurus responded in kind. With a heave of her lungs, she expelled a blast of superheated, chemically charged seawater, vaporizing the surf and scorching the sand where the apes had been moments before. The alpha countered by hurling his spear with terrifying force, striking true and piercing into the side of the beast. She thrashed and bellowed in fury, the waves churning as her massive tail slammed against the rocks. For a moment, it seemed as if one of the most extraordinary battles of the natural world was about to unfold. Primordial reptile against colossal primate. But then, an unexpected interruption silenced the shoreline. The air trembled with the sound of crackling electricity. A deep shadow fell across the scene as enormous wings blotted out the sun. Both ape and reptile turned skyward as a piercing cry rang out. From the clouds above, a Tricranus tempest descended, a living storm given flesh. Its three heads writhed with contained fury, arcs of lightning crawling down its necks, as it shrieked a challenge that shook the jungle. The Thermoradiosaurus turned, releasing a guttural bellow that steamed the rain-soaked air. The two titans of storm and sea now faced one another, two of the largest species to ever live, both from an age long gone. Without hesitation, the Tricranus struck first. A searing bolt of lightning arced downward, striking the marine giant across its flank. The impact sent up a column of steam, scales crackling and flesh searing. The reptile staggered, roaring in pain. But the storm beast didn't relent. It wheeled overhead, banking sharply through the rain, lightning arcing from its wings as it circled back for another strike. The heavens flashed as Tricranus dove and unleashed its wrath, driving the massive Spinosaur back into the shallows. The Colossopithecus troop, watching from the tree line, huddled low beneath the torrent. Their leader, the Alpha, who had defied the Thermoradiosaurus only moments before, now stood motionless, his massive chest heaving as he watched the two titans clash. Each time Tricranus dove, the Thermoradiosaurus lashed upward, jaws snapping, waves breaking around her as she tried to strike the tormentor above. The Thermoradiosaurus dipped her mouth into the water, gulping down hundreds of gallons of seawater. Her glands ignited, throat glowing like molten metal, and unleashed a blast of superheated seawater as the storm beast dove for a final strike. The torrent struck true. The main head of Tricranus Tempest reeled back with a roar of agony, golden scales blistering, electricity faltering. Smoke and blood mingled with the rain as the creature crashed into the beach with enough force to shake the earth. The jungle fell silent. For a heartbeat, it seemed as though the storm had died. But then, the beast rose again. Wings tattered, one head burned and thrashing, it lunged forward. No longer a god, but a cornered animal fighting for its life. The two collided with primal fury. Claws and fangs met armor, each blow echoing like thunder. Tricranus' remaining head struck again and again, tearing into the Thermoradiosaurus' flank, while the sea beast used its sheer weight to drive the storm drake backward across the land. And amid the chaos, the Alpha Colossopithecus moved. He saw his moment, the fallen spear. Half buried in the wet sand, its metallic tip still glowing from the Thermoradiosaurus' heat. Gripping it in both hands, he roared and hurled it skyward. The weapon struck with terrifying precision, piercing through one of Tricranus' outer skulls. The storm beast shrieked, arcs of uncontrolled lightning tearing through its body, searing the sand around it. The Thermoradiosaurus lunged in that same instant. With a final surge of power, she slammed her bulk into Tricranus, driving it onto its back. Sand and seawater erupted in all directions as she pinned it beneath her weight. One last desperate lash of wings, and then silence, as her jaws closed around the central head. The crunch of bone and the wet hiss of extinguished lightning filled the air. and then with a single heave, she tore the head free and swallowed it whole. The storm faded. The Thermoradiosaurus stood triumphant, chest heaving, her armored scales glowing faintly. She turned toward the sea and released a victorious roar that rolled across the jungle. A column of scalding vapor erupted from her throat. At the edge of the tree line, the Colossopithecus troop gathered. The Alpha watched in silence for several long moments, before turning back to his kin. His massive hand gestured towards the forest, a command to move. They vanished into the mist, the faint crackle of lingering electricity their only reminder of what had transpired. When the storm clouds finally parted hours later, the beach lay in ruins. Charred sand, the twisted remains of Tricranus Tempest, and the fading warmth of the Thermoradiosaurus's breath mark the site of one of nature's rarest events, the meeting of 3 living relics from lost worlds.
Thank you.